Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed urges for rectifying issues faced in the justice system. And Africa rolls out COVID-19 vaccination amid concerns by scientists of being left behind. Those are the top stories in this news edition. Hello, welcome to ETV News. With the news, I'm Shamal Islam. President Sahle-Work Zewde chaired a meeting of the International Commission on the Futures of Education. The commission, comprised of experts from all over the world, is working on a report that will serve as a guide for policymakers, educators and learners on what modern and inclusive education should look like in the future. Commission members discussed the progress made thus far. The final report will be published in November of 2021. The Commission was formed during the 2019 United Nations General Assembly. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has launched the Jimma-Chida Road project, which crosses through Jimma Zone and ends in Konta Special District. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Demeke Mekonnen, and other members of the cabinet attended the groundbreaking ceremony. Budgeted at 2.4 billion baht through cooperation of the federal government, JICA and AFDB, this road will greatly support our development efforts initiated through Dine for Ethiopia, Premier Abiy wrote on his Facebook page. The region is a coffee and fruit growing area. The construction of the road would help farmers to supply their products easily to local and global markets, it was noted. It will also connect Oromia and southern states, thereby allowing tourists to visit the Chabera Churchura National Park and other developmental projects. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed has held discussion over phone with Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations. The Prime Minister tweeted that he held an excellent conversation with Antonio Guterres on various regional and multilateral issues. According to him, their discussions explored strengthened collaborations in various areas. In another news, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has called for focal attention to be given to rectifying issues faced in the justice system. The Premier has also urged better rapport among ministers so that they can cooperate rather than compete to develop the country. The Premier made remarks during the 6-month performance evaluation of his cabinet held at Koisha South region. Santara Tamrat has more on that.
The Ethiopian Council of Ministers has held its biannual meeting in Koisha, South Ethiopia. Members of the cabinet have presented their 6-month performance report. Following the report, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed underscored that the justice system needs more attentive task. The widely observed issues of justice in the country for the sake of money and relationship should be rectified soon and transformed into a justice system where all are equally served, he added.
One big problem among Ethiopians is that justice, whether it's in the economic front or land division or so. If we allow people to get only what they deserve, we could easily live in love, peace and harmony. But if we continue to let the sector abuse the sector by favoring who they know or for the bribe they receive, that would be dangerous for all of us. Some believe they can affect the justice system as per their needs by reporting false news of their health or so to their followers. Take for instance prisoners. Any prisoner has equal right before the law, whether he is poor or rich or from high class or low. Some others refuse to release prisoners after the court decided so. This is absolutely wrong.
The Premier also dwelt on creating better rapport among ministries so that they can help each other to develop the country, because any solitary achievement cannot change a nation.
ሚኒስትሮች መካከል ከፉክክር በላይ ትብብር
There needs to more cooperation than competition among ministers, and remarkable achievement of individual ministry cannot change Ethiopia. We have to be successful as a government, as a nation. Thus, there are a lot of points necessary to succeed in cooperation. There are a lot more points that could be resolved if we function in the synergy.
The Premier further put forward a direction to the ministries to formulate indigenous policies.
የኛ ፖሊሲ አብዛኛው ኮፒ ፔስት ወይም ትርጉም ነው።
Most of our policies are copied from another country, including a one for poverty alleviation. We may fulfill the goals designed for sources country of the policy, not our national interests or goals. Thus, our policies should be capable of solving our local problems and can be implemented at our resources. For instance, a certain adopted policy might be excellent, but if it requires $1 trillion for implementation, such a policy cannot be successful since the country cannot afford that.
Efficiency and effectiveness, uniformity of data systems among institutions, as well as their service delivery should be assessed, the Premier indicated.
Ethiopia has conducted successful diplomatic discussions with officials of Turkey and India. This was revealed while the Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Ambassador Dina Mufti, briefed the media on current issues, including the dispute between Ethiopia and Sudan and the humanitarian situation in the Tigray region. Explaining the border dispute between Ethiopia and Sudan, Ambassador Dina Mufti also said Ethiopia still believes that Sudan's actions are in the interest of third parties. Kasan Chani had the details.
The spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia has presented on Tuesday the ministry's bi-weekly press briefing focusing on various diplomatic activities of the ministry, various engagements by the ministry and relevant bodies regarding the humanitarian and rehabilitation efforts in Tigray, including major activities related to economic diplomacy, citizen-centered diplomatic activities, and capacity building of staff members. Regarding the diplomatic activities, the ambassador said that the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Ethiopia had fruitful discussions with officials in India.
With regard to political diplomacy, the visit of Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs to Turkey and India had been cited. During his visit to India, he met the Indian Foreign Minister and they discussed bilateral issues pertinent with strengthening bilateral relations between India and Ethiopia. And as you know, Indian investment in Ethiopia is one of the major investments, and therefore there have been discussions with the leaders of the business community in Delhi. There is an interest on the part of various business groups to invest in Ethiopia.
Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey had also successful discussions in Ankara on ways to strengthen the relationship between the two countries. The MIC also briefed the European Union envoy and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Finland on the ongoing rehabilitation and reconstruction activities in the Tigray region.
He received also Minister of Foreign Affairs of Finland, who represented EU during his visit to Ethiopia. The minister was also briefed on the current situations in Ethiopia, and the fact that the humanitarian organizations have gotten access to the northern part of Ethiopia and they are carrying out the humanitarian activities in contrast to the rumors that flow around that normally misrepresent the situation on the ground.
Dina also stated that Ethiopia has issued a statement on Thursday, February 18, condemning the provocative behavior of Sudan on the joint border, adding that it will cause damage to the two countries. According to him, the Ethiopian government strongly believes that the conflict being translated by the Sudanese government's military wing could only serve the interests of a third party at the expense of the Sudanese people.
With regard to Ethio-Sudan border, as has been clearly explained in our last week's statement, what the action, especially the invasion of the Ethiopian territory by these elements of the Sudanese army, is contrary to the interest of both Sudan and Ethiopia. It doesn't help the region as well. And in that statement, we have explained clearly and emphatically the fact that these forces should go back to the positions where they have been before November 6th, so that we are ready to negotiate anytime. And we are urging them to go to the negotiation table. And we believe in peaceful resolutions of the conflict. And both countries have had enough of the conflicts. And we don't need conflicts. We need development. We need cooperations. This is a message that we constantly have been conveying to our Sudanese colleagues and their friends as well.
Besides, the ambassador accentuated it coordinated by the Ethiopian embassy in Djibouti. A delegation comprised of more than 21 people from Djibouti Tourism, Tour Operators Association and hotel owners, as well as scores of Ethiopian, have had a 3-day business forum in Addis Ababa that aimed at reviving intra-regional tourism at the time where COVID-19 has depressingly affected the sector.
On the economic diplomacy front, there had been 3-day-long business forum which was held in Addis, where about 21 people from Djibouti Tourism, tour operators, associations, hotel owners from both Ethiopia and Djibouti came together and held business consultations on promoting tourism. Actually, this is unique in the sense that it's one of the ventures that you have seen after the situation, the COVID-19, which has curtailed the movement of the tourism.
During the occasion, it was also noted that more than 1,669 citizens were repatriated from Jeddah and Riyadh from February 8 up to 22, with the government's citizen-centered diplomacy efforts.
The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia says election materials have been distributed to 673 constituencies so as to facilitate the upcoming general election. The board has presented the activities it has undertaken so far for pertinent or pertaining to logistics supplies and awareness creation works on the use of information communication technologies, among others. Saptama Shagri reports.
Speaking on the occasion, Chairperson of the National Election Board of Ethiopia, Burtukan Mideksa, said further activities are needed to distribute election materials in other regions. According to the Chairperson, improving infrastructure, transportation, security, as well as logistic issues need to be addressed as part of opening further branch offices in various regional states.
ከትራንስፖርቴሽን ሎጂስቲክስ በተጨማሪ
Apart from other surveys, the concern of security is critical to deliver election materials for electoral executives in other areas. Due to transportation bottlenecks in some regions, we haven't opened our branch offices timely. I think all actors need to exert concrete efforts to solve transportation as well as logistic problems in various areas. If we are not working along with the stakeholders, the problems will be complicated and difficult to bring solution. But the security situation in rural areas is not as good as urban areas. As a result, further attention is needed in rural areas.
The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia is always committed and ready to solve problems, including registration of voters, ahead of the upcoming national election, she stressed. The National Election Board of Ethiopia appreciates the security service that has been provided in Matakkal zone in state of Benshangul Gumuz. Due to effective security activities in the region, the board is currently opening all its branch offices in Matakkal zone, the chairperson pointed.
ሁላችንም እንደምናውቀው በቤንሻንጉል ጉሙዝ በመተከል ዞን
As we all know, I want to express about the security service in Matakkal zone in the state of Benshangul Gumuz. The concern of security in this region was alarming. Due to effective activities along with the government security forces as well as the National Task Force, we can enjoy better peace and stability in Matakkal zone. Thus, we can open our regional offices in this region.
በብዙ ቅንጅት ምንም አይነት ችግር ሳይደርስ
The National Election Board of Ethiopia is striving hard to distribute election materials in 15,000 polling stations across the country. As part of this move, the board has been distributing election materials in 678 constituencies over the past weeks all over Ethiopia. It was learned.
Adwa, the victory of black people, is one of the few, or maybe the pioneer collective resistance against the intractable white supremacy. Despite its significance to turn over the course of human history, the victory has not been receiving due respect and promotion both in and outside of the country due to many reasons. Ethiopians have now started to grow a sense of pride and strong nationalism emanated from the victory, which inspires them to organize events in celebration of the day. Art exhibitions are being displayed in Addis Ababa depicting the Battle of Adwa. Solomon Bayetes has more.
Artists, musicians, poets, speakers, and people in different disciplines try their tell the story of Adwa, ordinary black soldiers, white Italian army, territory of their territory, using different platforms, like the old days, from all Ethiopians, from all the centuries of lost texture, reflecting their thoughts about the victory of Adwa, systematically prohibited from promoting the past couple of decades. Because of political reasons, these past couple of years, drive to celebrate the victories, art exhibitions are becoming popular in the capital, to depict the battle. Artists testifying, exhibited a solo art gallery to the victory of Adwa.
Art is powerful. Art convey your message. A piece of drawing may speak louder than I spend many years trying to communicate what I feel to Adwa through these canvas. My drawings deeds and chronicle deeds and forefathers during the battle of Adwa should be told regardless. I don't think we were able to tell even 1% of the entire. We should find multiple ways to tell every piece of story during the time so that the coming generation will have the full view of the victory.
Visitors who happen to see such amazing art pieces appreciated the effort to portray the victory of Adwa.
We see ourselves in these stories. It is not only about the war, it is about who we are as Ethiopians and as the black race. They are so evocative of what happened during the war. It gives us a moment of wow to respect our forefathers and at the same time gives its print for the coming generation. It is a bare fact that the story of Adwa was overshadowed. It starts from naming our children after war heroes, naming our libraries, institutions and other things of importance after Adwa. Telling the story of Adwa will save the coming generation from ambiguous narratives.
ጥበቡ በተቻለ መጠን የታሪኩን ሂደቶች በተቻለ መጠን ለማስቀመጥ የሚሞክር ነው።
The art really tries to pull historical events keeping their sequence. We are able to see the spirit of the fight and the overall context of the battle in this gallery of very limited space. It is so powerful. I believe that the Adwa victory has not been told properly. The victory is beyond the actual battle. What really matters is the process. It is the foundation of where Ethiopia is built on. So unveiling its richness will let the world know about a history of global importance that took place in the land of Ethiopians.
ኢትዮጵያ የተሰራችበት የሀገረ ግንባታ
Replacing mediocre reasoning with substance and true narratives will help boost a sense of unity. It was learned.